we have a big event coming up this weekend, Nika. It is time for WWE's Night of Champions. We've had our eye on this event for quite a long time. And WWE, to be fair, has been promoting it for a long time. I think even, for sure since WrestleMania. I remember seeing commercials for this during that and maybe before. I don't know.
It's been a while, but they have been promoting it heavily.
Oh, indeed. And the big reason for that is, of course, because it's going to be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And there's been a lot of craziness just with everything going on in the world right now of even if this event is going to happen in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. We'll have more news on that as the week goes along because it probably could change at any minute. But for now, everything seems to be going as scheduled. So we will have Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Peacock Saturday morning for us.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Saturday morning wrestling.
I like it.
Remember Saturday morning cartoons growing up? Well, we got Saturday morning WWE this time, and that'll probably make a fun event for even just kids in America to be involved with. The show is toned down from some of its, the women will be toned down with what they wear because it's in Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure some of the language will be toned down as well. Though that doesn't mean there will be less trash talking per se. It just means they might not say certain words. It's a respect thing. Mm-hmm. And it's all for the traveling circus and spreading the WWE to a global stage. You got to take part in certain customs in those countries. Mm-hmm. We are excited to see just how this event does go off. We've only read about past events in Saudi Arabia, so this will be our first official live viewing of a Saudi Arabia event. Without further ado, this is a predictions show for the Night of Champions, and we really don't know what's going to happen on SmackDown either the night before.
Do you think it will be tied to the Night of a Champions?
I've been trying to figure this out in my head, and we can, before we get into these matchups really quick, we can talk about this. I feel like it could go one of two ways. So either the SmackDown show is going to be a tune-up for a lot of the performers that have matchups in the Night of Champions somehow.
Okay. What do you mean by tune-up? Like tuning up the storylines or just testing out?
Some way for Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton to work with each other without there being any drama or any storyline stuff involved, just as a working match, if you will. Or they're going to have totally different performers than the Night of Champions event to get more performers involved with the Saudi Arabia event. And because Jey Uso right now doesn't have a match scheduled on the dock.
Okay.
But yet he's one of the biggest stars in WWE. Does he get a match somehow on SmackDown so he can do his entrance in Saudi? I mean, is that even allowed in Saudi Arabia to walk through the crowd like that? Or
I don't know, but that's a great point because the more exposures and the more people they bring, the more entries, the more music, the bigger show it is.
Indeed. So that's all I'm wondering about right now is how involved the performers that aren't taking place in night, because then you have to bring all those extra performers to Saudi Arabia as well, and that costs money.
Of course.
So
it's a huge operation.
It just makes me wonder which direction they're going to go in. What do you think?
I don't think they're going to have the king or queen of a championship fighting the night before. I think they're going to bring more people in.
You think they're going to bring? I do too, because ultimately that will sell more merchandise. Mm-hmm. And I do think they do have merchandise for sale at these events.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't they?
Well, you don't know other countries' customs and what's allowed. And,
fair.
They have to wear certain clothing sometimes and respectful. And you just, I don't know.
Okay.
So I'll be curious to see how much we get to see behind the scenes of the WWE shop in Saudi Arabia. I know they're westernized, and so I'm not trying to make them out to be
cave
they're coming like the Flintstones to the wrestling event. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't know what custom allows for.
No, I understand. But the cards, the trading cards, some of the T-shirts, I'm sure that's all good.
Yeah, and would be probably, coveted by those people if they don't get exposure to it all year round. So without further ado, you want to get into some of these matchups? We got a couple matchups added on Monday Night Raw this week, and we're going to start with the first one. It is going to be Sami Zayn, fan favorite, taking on Karrion Kross, they have had this backstage feud going on now for the last few, I guess, months, and it's really picked up in the last few weeks with Sami giving Karrion Kross a punch to the face on this past Monday night's Raw. I should point out, Karrion Kross had this like devilish smile on his face after this, like he was happy that this was happening. And then we got this match announced, Nika. So I would call a filler for the event and the card, but at least they've had some kind of storyline worked for a while with these two, so that there's going to be some kind of payoff, I would guess, in this matchup. Who do you have in this matchup? Do you have any inclinations which way it's going to go?
Karrion Kross.
You are taking Karrion Kross. What's the reasoning?
He needs a victory over Sami to tell Sami, see, I told you so.
Oh, interesting. So I'm going to go in a little bit of a slightly different direction. I feel like Sami is going to win this match, but that Karrion is going to bring out an uglier side of Sami. And this is going to be the start of Sami actually maybe taking up Seth Rollins on his offer to go to SmackDown and become a villain.
Okay.
Be a heel. Be a new heel for SmackDown. The appetite to be a heel has got to be big for these guys because it's just so much fun looking.
I get. Yeah, definitely.
So I don't think anyone would be opposed to this, but I feel like this Karrion's been trying to get Sami to become darker or tap into his
dark side,
true nature, as he calls it. And so we'll see if he can get him to do that during this match, and if that ultimately leads to some kind of character building event with Sami going and turning into a heel.
Okay.
It could be fun.
Definitely.
It would at least give this whole rivalry that's been brewing some weight, some gravitas, if you will. Well, Nika's going with the Kross. I'm going with Sami. Tell us who you got below. Awkward pause. All right, moving on. Well, we got this also announced on Raw this week. It is going to be Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight, Nika.
They are really made for a street fight, those two.
Now, is this going to be outside in Riyadh, in the streets?
In the desert.
In the desert?
Oh,
well, they do have a downtown.
Of course.
It's gorgeous.
Would it be like Mission Impossible with the sandstorm blowing in?
Oh, that could be cool. Some building scaling, you know? Is that the same movie where he climbed with the gloves that stopped working? Oh, man, that gave me the EBGBs.
And the special effect of sandstorm that you don't see nothing.
Oh, boy. Oh, I got the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it, everybody. This matchup does not give me the heebie-jeebies. I'm actually excited about this, even though it's I know it's card filler because there's not a lot of emotional backstory here. There's not a lot of weight other than Rhea Ripley interfered and Raquel Rodriguez's Queen of the Ring Fatal 4-Way matchup.
Yeah.
And so they have this unfinished business now with this street fight getting announced on Raw. And yeah, Nika, what are you thinking? What are you taking in this matchup?
I'm going with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, me too. International superstar Rhea Ripley, and this is an international event. I do think they're going to give the fans their money's worth, but I think ultimately Mama, as they call her, is going to come out victorious in this one. And I also think we're going to see some more Judgment Day shenanigans because of the street fight rule. The fact is anyone could come down and interfere, and it would be on the up and up, I guess.
And also they are going to Australia this year. So since Rhea Ripley is from Australia, I think having a win kind of helps to promote the show on the down and under.
Yeah, I mean, no offense. I don't think Rhea Ripley needs help.
I don't think so either.
Via a boost. She's already a big star. But I just feel like it's more about playing her music at the end of the match with those fans than it is anything.
The entryway, the exit, absolutely.
That's just kind of how I look at the situation. I mean, I don't want to play up too much the importance of that, but I do think it's important.
It's part of the show.
Absolutely.
So,
all right. Well, we're both taking Rhea Ripley. Sorry, Raquel. No offense.
No offense.
And with that, let's move on to a feud that we've kind of been neglecting a little bit, Nika.
Okay.
And not for any particular reason. It's just the king and the queen of the ring matchups week to week seem to have been taking more of a priority for us. And we can't cover it all, folks. But nevertheless, this feud here between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa has certainly ramped up. And this all started at Money in the Bank when Jacob Fatu came down to the ring, much like Seth Rollins had his thugs come down to the ring, and he was there to assist Solo Sikoa, and then he wasn't. He ripped him down off that ladder as he was about to grab the briefcase and said, "No, no, 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 no."
He did a 180.
And interestingly, Solo was playing the role of like apologetic victim here. What did I do to you to deserve this? I want to make it right. It's kind of an interesting. I didn't see Solo going in that direction, really.
Yeah, he was playing the good brother. I love you, bro. You know, you're always there for me, whatever.
Well, Jacob wasn't buying any of this, and now they have a title matchup at Night of Champions. The U.S. Championship is on the line between these two Samoan brothers, and it is going to be, well, who do you got?
I'm going with Jacob Fatu all the way.
Absolutely. I think Solo Sikoa is a great heel. I don't think he's going to win a belt right here.
I don't think so either.
But I do think that this feud is not going to be over anytime soon either.
I think he's just ramping up.
It is. And Jacob's going to need some reinforcements. So it'll be interesting to see because Solo Sikoa is got JC Mateo, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him expand the stables a little bit too. I feel like this is going to go down to a Survivor Series in November when they do the 4-on-4. If they still do that, I'll find out. Don't tell me. I want to be surprised. I haven't had a Survivor Series in years, folks. Years. I want to see how it goes down. But if they do a 4x4 matchup, I could definitely see Jacob getting 3 to go on and Solo Sikoa grabbing a couple more and in the stables, and we'll see. But for now, they duke it out on Night of Champions. I'm excited for this matchup.
That's a good matchup.
I don't think we've gotten to see these two work with each other a lot, but you would figure that they know each other well, being in the Samoan Brotherhood together. So that what should bode well for the entertainment factor to be very, very high.
100% agree.
It's definitely not going to be the first time they've laid hands on each other. So, all right. Well, who are you taking?
Jacob. Jacob all the way.
All right. Well, with that, let's move on to the women's Queen of the Ring matchup. Ladies first, Nika.
Oh, ladies first, huh?
It is going to be Jade, Cargill, our girl, against Asuka, who we don't really know a whole lot because, disclaimer, we just started watching Royal Rumble 2025. I do this once every time we record an episode of wrestling right now.
I know you do.
And this is the moment. And this is just as an explainer of why we don't really know Asuka and her game that much. It's not personal, but we do like Jade a lot. And so who are you taking, Nika?
Well, as much as it's going to break my heart, I'm going with Asuka to win the championship. I mean, to win the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah. It's tough for me too. It's a hard decision. I'm going to take Jade.
Okay,
I
just
know
to be different.
I could be wrong. And I also could see the WWE powers that be using a little misdirection on Raw with Io Sky and Asuka having that little backstage scene. It might seem like it's setting something up, and then all of a sudden it gets flipped on its heel and we get something else entirely.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think it's like a smart use of misdirection if they decide to go that direction. I'm going to take Jade. I did remember reading a little while back that she was going to get a push, and I feel like this could be that moment for her going into SummerSlam. It would be her chance to get on the big stage because SummerSlam is one of the big 4 events of the year. So yeah, I'm gonna take Jade. You're gonna take Asuka, and we'll see.
We see who will.
You're on a predictions roll lately. You're kicking my arse, as they say, Nika.
Unintentional.
Well, that is gonna flip it over to the men's King of the Ring final, and we have these two legends. I guess it's fair to say at this point, Randy Orton, the Viper, taking on Cody Rhodes, the American Badass. I'm sorry, the American Nightmare. I got it mixed up with Undertaker for a second. I don't think there's too much setup needed for this matchup. This is, like I said, 2 of the greats in WWE already, and this is going to be more about high performance, I feel like. Another 2 guys that I'm sure have laid hands on each other in the past. I know they have, and that, we read that the more experienced you are with another person, it can tend to lead to some of the better product inside of the ring when it comes to technical stuff.
Yes.
So I expect this to be a highly technically proficient and entertaining matchup between these two. And I expect there to be not a lot of drama, I guess.
I don't either.
Just more good showmanship.
Yes, it should be a pretty clean fight. I don't think there's going to be any shenanigans. And it really doesn't matter who wins at the end because both of these guys are well recognized and known. But I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes, too. It just feels like Randy Orton already had his greatest hits with John Cena moment. And Cody Rhodes, while he did lose the belt to John Cena at WrestleMania, I don't think he's had that moment yet with Cody Rhodes where they've had like a big build up to a feud. You know, everything that happened was sort of pre John Cena turning heel. He did turn heel on Cody Rhodes, and he did tap into that The Rock,
the dark
final
side.
boss, if you will. Yeah, John Cena accepted what Cody Rhodes turned down, and we haven't really seen that feud resolve itself, and we haven't seen The Rock in a while. And I could see The Rock getting involved before SummerSlam again, and that would mean maybe bringing this feud up again with Cena and Cody Rhodes.
Okay, it makes sense in that when you put it that way.
We'll see. All right, well, speaking of John Cena, the last time is now. One last time, we are going to see these two legends go head-to-head, John Cena and CM Punk. And, yeah, a lot of history here. The tables have turned. CM Punk once a bad guy, now a good guy. John Cena once a good guy, now a heel. And I've enjoyed the little feud that they've had with each other, particularly the pipe bomb recreation that John Cena did on the SmackDown last week.
Both of these guys are good on the mics. So it brings that level of drama a little higher.
It does. If anyone asks why the older guys are still doing so well in this league, I think it has to do with the mic skills. And I think the newer era needs to get with it. They need to get better on the mic. And so hopefully they get enough practice and get enough time to mold their performances. But in the meantime, Nika, who are you taking? John Cena against CM Punk in Saudi Arabia.
John Cena, he will retain his belt. I don't see CM Punk taking up the belt right now and then turning around and losing it to somebody else.
Yeah, it wouldn't make much sense for Cena to lose this matchup, in my opinion, as well, because of the same reasons you said. He's on this farewell tour as champion. He's planning to retire as champion.
But that never works out, does it, for everybody? Look
Well,
at Goldberg coming back from retirement.
Depends on if those paychecks dry up or not in other avenues. We're not doing any Goldberg predictions on this episode, but it just makes story sense for Cena to retain and keep this bad guy image going. You know, like it's a whole part of the show right now, and it's a big part of the show.
And this is for a championship belt.
People love chanting John Cena sucks right now all over the place. It is for the title, but I just don't think CM Punk is going to take this away from John Cena right now.
No, not at this moment. I don't see it either.
I think he'll get another title
Chance?
run in his career before he hangs it up. But this is John Cena's moment in WWE, and you know he's never got to do it as a villain, and they're going to let him have as much of it as possible. He's getting his cake, and he's going to eat it too, and he's probably earned it.
Definitely.
So Cena will win. He will use the finisher. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the whole product gets presented. Let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win these matches and how you think everything is going to go down in Saudi Arabia.